Hey trackies, welcome back to another video. Yeah, it wouldn't be a championships without spills and thrills, and I don't even know if you can call this a spill. All I know is it's a hot mess, right? So Sha'carri Richardson withdraws from the women's 100 meters. Also, Gabby Thomas withdraws from the 100 meters as well, focusing on the 200 meters, trying to defend her title there. So let's see how that goes. But Sha'carri Richardson is the talk of the town right now because, as I said, she withdraws from the 100 meters. But that isn't the story. The story is that Sha'carri Richardson was embroiled in a domestic violence situation, with her, I suppose, at this particular point, maybe ex, allegedly, right? Let me just throw out allegedly, lest anybody tries to come sue me, right? And yeah, it has now become this story that is literally gone viral, at least from a track and field perspective, with Sha'carri Richardson. So Trackies, I knew about this, for some time now. It has actually been swirling around online, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like the last time, what happened with Fred Curley, and I came out and I said, at the end of the day, adults need to start adulting and start being responsible. Y'all, came for me, and I was like, okay, I guess this is normal for y'all. Where in a healthy society, people are just randomly going around and fighting each other. Well, I guess with this whole Sha'carri thing, I really didn't have any interest of speaking on it. But since it's now so big, might as well. You know what I mean? So as I said, this is something that I found out about some days ago. It was broken actually online by another content creator. But as I said, I really didn't care. But anyway, track is I'm just going to dive into this article from the usatoday.com. So this is from usatoday.com, and this is what they had to say. So Sha'carri Richardson arrested in alleged domestic violence incident, police say. So the article says Sha'carri Richardson was arrested after an alleged incident at the Seattle Tacoma International Airport, according to the police report obtained by USA Today Sports. According to the report, Richardson was arrested for domestic violence on Sunday. Richardson and a male companion were involved in a verbal altercation, and we found out that this male companion is allegedly Christian Coleman. A child having to say allegedly is crazy, but anyway, allegedly Christian Coleman. A verbal altercation as they exited through the airport security. The police report says Richardson allegedly pushed the man and he fell into a nearby column, according to the Seattle Police Department. The report states the report says police viewed airport footage, security footage on that video. The report says the man attempted to walk away from Richardson, but she continued to allegedly bump into him, aka she was allegedly beating up Christian Coleman, the report says, right? Police also say, why am I making a joke out of this track? I'm sorry. Police also say Richardson threw a pair of headphones at the man, right? So she was actually booked at the South Correctional Entity in Des Moines, Washington on Sunday and released on Monday, jail records show. So these records, as I said, have actually been online for a few days now, right? So it's not nothing, new per se, but I suppose now that the USA Championships is going on and her withdrawing from the 100 meters, now it has actually been blown up into, I guess, the stratosphere, right? So apparently USA Track and Field, was asked for a statement, but they refused to give a statement. They said they are aware of the report. However, they have no, comment at this time. Now, in me realizing that this story was out for a few days, I also did realize that a few people were online saying, hey, if Fred is currently going through the current situation, what makes it fair for Sha'carri Richardson, the one that actually incited the incident, to be competing at the USA Track and Field Championships, right? So it made me go in my mind today, seeing that she withdrew, wondering, is there some rule, when you're competing, that if you have an open case, right, you're not allowed to compete? I don't know, guys. I don't know the rule book for USA Track and Field, right? So can't say, whether or not that is a thing, but it did pop into my mind. And also, I have to say though, before she did withdraw from the women's 100 meters, she did an interview which struck me very, very interesting, where she was, I guess, trying to convince us that she did have an injury. And I thought to myself, girl, you see that you had an injury or you didn't. You know what I mean? I don't know why she said it the way she said it, but I've heard multiple athletes speak of their setbacks, and it never really sounded like that. So it sounded as though, she was trying to convince us, of this injury, seemingly like it was a lie. And I was like, okay, that's interesting because I did get some information, that she did indeed suffer an injury, but how bad it was, I'm starting to question, that in my mind, because clearly she looks as though she's not even solid on, how on the story. Let's put it that way, because she said she suffered some kind of injury. I'm gonna play the video so that y'all can hear why, as I said, I was questioning, why she's, saying it the way she was saying it, like she wasn't confident in her truth. You know what I mean? Or the truth. I don't believe in anybody's truth, but actually the truth. You know what I mean? So that was actually interesting to me. But you know what? Coming out of all of this, I'm just thinking to myself, I wonder if we're even going to see Sha'carri Richardson turn up for the World Championships. You know what I mean? Because actually, heading into this USA Track and Field Championships, you heard me say time and time again that I actually wanted her to run because she needs the races, right? And nothing beats competition. Nothing beats running against the best competition as far as I'm concerned. And Melissa Jefferson has been given that all season. She's number one in the women's 100 meters. Why not go out and test the waters and run competitively against her and, get prepared for the World Championships? And now that she is withdrawn, I'm thinking to myself, well, there goes that, in my opinion, because I'm like, it seems kind of like a cop out, in my opinion, Trackies. I ain't gonna lie. It feels like a cop out, right? Clearly, she's short of races. I didn't expect her to be able to challenge whatever Melissa Jefferson has, but I wanted to see her run and, put up some, get better and better each round. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? And in light of that, I'm thinking, so where are we going to go after this? Are we going to be hitting up the Diamond League? Will the Diamond League, no want her to compete there? Because now we're hearing, that Fred Curley, was refused, from participation at the Diamond Leagues and a number of events. So he wasn't able to make any money. Will they be inviting a Sha'carri Richardson? How would that look if they, invite her? So I'm not even sure she'll be able to get into any races real serious, because this is a big deal, right? So now I'm looking at it and I'm like, will we even see Sha'carri Richardson at the World Championships? Like, it's a serious thing at this particular point. But yeah, at this particular point, I need adults to start adulting. I don't want anybody to come into the comment section and tell me about, oh, people are standing on business. I'm very much old school, Trackies. And, people usually carry themselves with, certain pride, right? Especially when you're a public figure. And in today's day, the new generation isn't giving me that. They're giving me they're willing to do anything, anywhere, and it doesn't matter. And I'm like, which world are you living in? How do you think you're going to be able to get by behaving these ways or behaving like this? You know what I mean? So, anyway, this is all alleged. Let's just put that out there. Well, the report is, the police report is confirmed. I can actually, put that on the screen as well. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen. So that's what's currently going on with Sha'carri Richardson. And yeah, it's just a mess. It's Fred Curly deja vu situation, going on. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Time to start acting like a professional. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. No, it's time to grow up, right? I talked about Fred Curley fixing his circle. Sha'carri Richardson needs to fix her circle. You don't need yes people around you. You need people that are going to tell you the truth and tell you this is not okay, right? I believe that those are true friends. I don't believe the people that are just going to, say yes, yes, yes to you with everything are your true friends. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's see, how this whole situation, continues, what the fallout is, right? As the days progress. As I said, though, track is for the most part, when, things off the track are going on, I don't really want to, talk about it, because I really want to focus on literally the track itself, what's going on there in the field as well. That's where my passion really lies, not really sitting down and gossiping and talking about people's lives, right? That's not me. So yeah, I don't really know how much more I'm gonna cover this, unless something really shocking again happens, then you may get another video. But outside of that, track is, this is probably one and done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So Sha'carri Richardson got arrested on Sunday, released on Monday. Apparently she was allegedly beating up on Christian Coleman, right? It's impressive that he was able to come out and compete as strongly as he did today, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.